All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I just got done working out. Now I'm on here. I fell off my routine a little bit over the weekend. I took a few too many days off from working out, so I'm a little bit sore this morning, but I feel good getting back into it, starting Monday off right. I've been up since 7:30 this morning, so hopefully I can sleep later. That would be nice. But, I fell off a little bit over the weekend, and I felt kind of icky about that. But what's important is what I'm doing right now, right? I got up, I worked out, I'm doing what I need to do, and that's what matters, So I picked two different readings today that kind of go along with the intention card that I picked this morning. And anybody who's watched any of my videos knows that I picked them at random out of this little box here that you open up, and it has, cards in between. I kind of just take a moment of silence and shuffle them around and pick a card, and whatever that card says, that's my intention for the day. Sometimes I get lost and don't really know what my next move is, so for me, this is the universe telling me, work on that, focus on that today. Just today, just focus on it. And, at night I check in with myself and see how I did with meeting that. How did I do today? Did I live up to that intention that I had set this morning? But I want to start out with the reading from this morning that I read out of Staying Strong, my Demi Lovato one. And again, people that have watched my videos know that I absolutely love this book. But the one for today was kind of ironic. It's about intentions, and I loved it. So I'm going to share it with you guys. Just quick disclaimer, anything that I talk about on here are not solely the views of ROCovery Fitness or myself, for that matter. These are just things that I find, and I want to share with you guys. I find them inspirational or motivational or whatever the case might be, and I share them with you based on what my experience was with them. So let's get right into this. The only person I can see that joined in was Keirstan, so hello. Welcome to my video today. I see that there's a bunch of other people, but I can't see it. Who's on here, but hello everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys hear something that you need to hear today. I hope that we all hear something that we need to hear today. So let's get into this first one here. April 13th. I myself am made of flaws stitched together with good intentions. And that's a quote from Augustine Burroughs. Each and every one of us has their cracks and their flaws. We never had the intention of going out and becoming flawed, but that's what happens in life. We make mistakes and we learn from them. That's what makes us who we are. Goal for today: be kinder and gentler with yourself. Accept your flaws and be grateful for what you've learned from them. I really like that because I talk about this all the time as, doing our best today. Primarily doing your best today with what you have, what's right in front of you, and what your goals are for this moment, for this day. But also she talks about here, we never had the intention of going out and becoming flawed, but that's what happens in life. And one of my favorite quotes is perfectly broken, or sayings, I guess. I'm perfectly broken. I was made this way for a reason. And all of my mistakes, my flaws, things that I've done in my life make me who I am today, and will continue to mold me and make me who I am down the line in my future. I look forward to, in a way, I don't know, how I really view it, but I look forward to those mistakes and learning from them and growing. So this really spoke to me today. Our intentions may be great, and we may still fall short, and we may still make mistakes, but the beauty in all of it is that we get to learn from it and become different throughout it, if we so choose. It's about taking that action and becoming a different person, based on what we've been through in our experiences. So the goal for today: be kinder and gentler with yourself. Accept your flaws and be grateful for what you've learned from them. I have a really hard time. I'm my toughest critic. I beat myself up, and I've talked about this before, but it really spoke to me again today. I beat myself up. Like I said, I started the video and I was talking about the fact that I had fallen short over the weekend and wasn't, I missed 2 of my workouts that I had planned. I was waking up at 11 o'clock. I was staying up late, and I really struggle with, and I'm really trying to learn to be kinder and gentler with myself. I've spoke on this before, but like if somebody comes to me, one of my many people that I work with or that reach out to me and tells me, hey, I fell short this weekend, blah, 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 whatever, tells me the same story that I just said, my response to them is going to be completely different than what I'm telling myself in my head. You know, I'm going to tell them it's okay. I'm going to motivate them, and I'm going to tell them to keep pushing, and all that matters is what we do now, you know, put one foot in front of the other, all of that stuff. You know, why can't I tell that to myself? You know, so I from this reading, like I asked you guys, like do that with you, you know, because I know I'm not the only one that struggles with that. I know I'm not alone. I know we all are really hard on ourselves, and we expect keyword there, ourselves to be at this certain level, you know, and we get really hard on ourselves and beat ourselves up when we don't reach that level. You know, so be kinder to yourself today. Be kinder. Be gentle with yourself. You know, think about it. When you're thinking those things, ask yourself, would I tell my sister that? Would I tell my best friend that? Would I tell somebody who came to me for support that same thing that I'm thinking about myself right now? The answer is probably not. Probably not. So treat yourself like you would treat somebody else, you know. A lot of us have that ingrained in us, like we want to help everybody and fix everybody. But then when it comes to ourselves, you know, we beat ourselves up. So turn it inward, you know. Yeah, okay. So I wanted to start with that one. I really liked it when I read it this morning. I think it's extremely fitting, you know, for my own personal struggles, but just in general, when I do a video based on intentions and living an intention-filled day, you know, and I love that this morning, that's what it came up, you know, is intentions, good or bad, you know. Sometimes we don't even realize that our intentions were bad, you know, and that's when we get to the point where we kind of take some time and self-reflect, you know, what am I doing and why am I doing it? Where are my intentions in this? Where are my motives in this? Why am I doing it? You know, certain behaviors that I act on, things that I do in my life, I really have to take a look at that sometimes, you know, and really sit with myself, talk to my people about it, and see where I'm at, you know, and turn those intentions from bad to good, you know. It's not something that I think any of us do intentionally, you know, like we don't really get in there and like, we're going to go into this and just wreak havoc, or we're going to go in this and hurt this person. I don't think that we do that. I don't believe it at all. I think that it's a subconscious thing, you know, whether it's self-sabotage or, you know, whatever, trying to fill a void, whatever it might look like at that time. So really taking time to figure it out, you know, what's going on with me? What am I compensating for here? So that brings me to my intention word for today, which was discovery. I made it a point to like not flip it before this point, but it's discovery, you know, and I've gotten this word, I think once over the last month, already, and it looked different then, you know. It was like discovering what I'm going to do during this period of time, you know, because I got it, I would say probably about a month ago. And today when I opened it, it was like, you know, discover me. Discover who I am today, because that's different than I was yesterday. It's different than I was a month ago. It's different than I was years ago. You know, it's different than I was 5 minutes ago. So really discover who I am today and where I'm headed. What do I want? You know, what do I not want? You know, like that's one of the things that I can identify with very easily is like, I'm doing these things and I know I don't like it. It's making me uncomfortable, whatever it might be. For me, it's like lack of working out, or I'm not reaching out enough, or, you know, I'm treating people poorly. You know, I'm losing patience with my cat. Things like that really don't sit right with me sometimes, you know. And lately, I've expressed behaviors that I'm not super proud of. So for me, that word today is really going to be focus on me, see where I'm at, see how I feel. You know, and really, really figure out what my intentions are. You know, I spent some time a couple days ago really going through all of this and doing an inventory on myself. Hey, Melissa. Hi, Sam. Hi, John. Hi, Ashley and Amanda. I miss you guys so much. I got sidetracked by Melissa saying Dapper. I miss her so much. She's so funny. But hello. Can't wait to be able to see your guys' faces again. But you know, recently I've gotten caught up in some behaviors that I'm not particularly proud of, you know, and they're not like detrimental to my life necessarily at this moment, but I don't like it. And thankfully, my God has given me this time to really focus on me, and I've touched on it before. Like, I truly believe that good is going to come out of it, whatever that looks like. And I really have to discover what I am, what I want, and things like that. And certain things are falling in place in my life. And, that wouldn't be happening if I wasn't taking this time. If I didn't take the time the other day to really sit down and dissect what I was feeling, what I was doing, if it was pure, is it pure? Is it not? Is this for my benefit, or am I filling something? Am I filling a void? Am I trying to mask something that I don't want to deal with? All these different questions that come up when you really do look internal, and you have someone to help you look internal, because again, I have an obstructed view of myself, by all these expectations that I have. So having somebody else go through it with me, writing it down, and really, pulling it all out of me, because I have a hard time pulling it out of myself, and seeing things from a view that isn't clouded by my own expectations, my own judgments on myself. There's times that I think I'm doing terrible and I'm not. There's times that I think I'm doing great and I'm not. So it's really important for me to lay it all out in front of somebody else, really look at it and work on it together, Hey Nelly, glad you tuned in. So again, I implore you guys, be kind to yourselves. Absolutely be kind to yourself. But also take advantage of the fact that we can really dissect what's going on internally right now. Take advantage of that. Look at yourself and what you want and where your intentions are today. And it doesn't have to be this huge colossal thing. Just today. What am I doing today? How do I feel about it? Where am I going? How am I treating people? And more importantly, how am I treating myself? I've talked about the ripple effect before. If I'm treating myself poorly, it tends to come out in other ways. My behaviors, other things like that. It really does. It manifests itself in so many different ways. So I really, really implore you to really be kind to yourself and work on it from there. That's a great starting point. Hey Chelsea, I'm glad you joined in. Hi Lisa. All right, Nellie says, I'm having a really hard time being kind to myself. I get that. And one of the things is, and I talk about the beauty of this all the time, is we have a chance to learn and grow. And we as humans have the ability to practice something and make it habitual, right? It's not easy to be kind to yourself, especially when we've lived the way we've lived, just being blunt about it. Most of us have lived very unhealthy lifestyles for a very long time. So it's easy to get caught up in all of that and all those negative feelings, so practice. If it's one, I've talked about this before, but I'll talk about it again because somebody's bringing it up. If it's one minor thought throughout the day, I think I'm a piece of crap today, or I didn't, talk to somebody the right way, or I just swore at somebody in Wegmans over a cart, whatever it is. Some negative thought comes into your head, just try to switch one at a time. And over time it becomes habitual, it becomes a habit, and it becomes easier. No, it's not, rainbows and unicorns all the time. It's not something where, all the time we're automatically positive. But more, as time goes on and the more that we practice it, the easier it becomes to switch those thoughts. I was talking to somebody about it yesterday. When I do get those thoughts, because I do, and I'm human, when I do, it's a matter of how long does it take me to get out of it? Is it a couple days or is it a couple minutes? And over time, it becomes that couple minutes, It becomes that couple minutes where I have these negative thoughts and I hate myself, and then I can pull out of it really quick. I do have moments where it takes days. I've been in funks for days before. But it's all about, Melissa just said it, reframing, and turning that outlook to a positive one. Hi, Sarah, Kara, Holly. It's nice to see you all jumping on today. So I want to read a story to you guys. And it's a little bit different from my norm. It's from a book called The Tales from the Toe, The Wisdom of the Taoist Masters. And again, this is not like a personal belief or a ROCovery belief, but I found this story when I was looking through some books the other day. And I really like it, but I couldn't really fit it here or there. But then I pulled discovery this morning, I was like, that story fits, with it. So I'm going to read it to you guys. It's a little bit lengthy, but we'll get through it together. And we'll see how we feel about it afterwards. All right, it's called To Be or Not to Be a Butterfly. The butterfly flitted on its way, unmindful of the gentle breeze that ruffled its wings. It flew here and there, content in its own way to wander without a goal, without any needs except to be part of the breeze that blew past its wings as it flew along, unhurried, unfurled, and even. This little butterfly's life had been brief. From caterpillar to chrysalis, inside its quiet and heavy cocoon, it had stayed for what seemed like eons of time, quiet, patient, waiting for the moment when it could break out of its prison, unfurl its wings, and fly straight up into the air. Now it did just so, flitting around in circles, occasionally meeting up with another butterfly, always mindful of predators or a strong and sudden gust of wind that could tear its thin, translucent wings and send it hurtling down to earth. Now and again the butterfly seemed to have glimpses of another life, another form. It seemed to be a much heavier and more ponderous life, this other one. But usually the butterfly ignored these unsettling inner sightings and just did what butterflies do, without thought, without motive, without any other goal than to just be what it was, a butterfly flying free. And as it did so, the day lengthened into night, and the butterfly headed back to the tree where it slept through the long period of darkness. It flew gently towards it and then suddenly stopped. The man lay in his bed, bewildered, bemused, lost in thought. It had seemed so real to him, this gentle butterfly life. He lay in the early morning light, listening to the sounds of the village as it slowly came to wake all about him. He heard the creaking of doors as people made their ways to the outhouses. He heard the sudden squall of an infant, the bark of a dog, the clomp of an ox as it trudged its way out to the fields, led by its sleepy master. He heard the sounds of fires being built, the tea kettles and the rice pots being readied for breakfast. He lay there a long time, without rising, without moving, other than the slow and deep rising and falling of his belly as he breathed his way into the day. His dream, if that's what it was, had been so vivid, so real. He had actually experienced himself as that butterfly, had felt the breeze on his wings, felt himself carried through the air as light as a seed, had thought only butterfly thoughts. Yet now here he was, back in his human body, back in a world of cause and effect. But which was truly real and which was the dream? Himself as a butterfly or himself as a man, waiting here for his students to come and drag him out into the light of day with their incessant questions and demands? How did he know that what he was experiencing now was not the dream? That he really was that butterfly, living its simple butterfly life, unattached and a part of the great natural world of Tao. He smiled in the darkness then. Truly it did not matter if he was a man who had dreamed he was a butterfly, or a butterfly who was now dreaming he was a man. He knew what he knew, and he knew what he didn't know. That was what sustained him through the long days and nights of his human life. What he knew or experienced in his butterfly life was also there, just outside the periphery of his vision. He almost laughed out loud. Imagine if I shared this with my students, he thought. He could just see their faces as he explained to them that he was not truly sure if what he experienced in his human life was any more real than what he experienced in his butterfly life. He slowly rose from his bed and, stretching out his arms above him like the slow unfolding of butterfly wings, went forth into the day. Brian is a butterfly kind of day. Hi, Brian. And Holly, butterflies signify freedom for me. Absolutely. My grandma actually loves butterflies, and she's passed away for a few years now, and every now and then, I'll have one come real close to me, and it always reminds me of her, and she was such a free spirit. Totally a sidebar, but that made me think of it, Holly. Hi, Karen. Hi, guys. So for me today, why I thought about that reading when I read the word discovery was the fact that, he talks about in here, like, it doesn't matter whether he was the butterfly or the man, which came first or which is real. None of that matters. What matters is what he's doing right now, and that those feelings that he had and his experiences were still there. They're still with him, and he still carries them. And I can relate that to my life. I still carry all of that with me. A lot of people talk about the fact that looking at us now as who we are today, a plethora of people in our community, they can't imagine us as we were then, and I can't either. I can't, like, thinking about who I was 5 years ago, say, that person is surreal to me, I mean, obviously I have the memories, I have the experiences, but it's so surreal to me to think about it. It is almost like it was a dream, a nightmare, if you will. But I still carry that with me, and I'm able to carry that and use that in a positive way today and take it with me as I discover who I am today and where I want to be and what I want to do. I really, really enjoyed that reading. I've read it twice now. I read it when I first got this book from a friend of mine, and I really liked it. And like I said, I just couldn't figure out when I could read it, but I knew the time would come eventually when it would be pertinent and useful in my discussion. And today was that day, it just kind of fell in place. I don't know, it just really spoke to me without, and he talks about in the beginning, life is a butterfly, like kind of just going with the flow. And there's another reading in this book that, I won't share at this point in time. I don't have a lot of time left, but about going with the flow, and he carries that experience with him of that light, free lifestyle that he experienced as the butterfly. And he kind of just says, it's okay. It is what it is. I know what I know. I know what I don't know. And I'm just going to get up and do what I know I need to do today, which is to go teach his class and be there, in his human life. And that's kind of what I kind of hone in on a lot on these videos, is just getting up and doing the right things today, and carry yourself with you. Be kind to who you were, who you might be, and carry it with you through the day. And we can always practice these little things that I just touched on not too long ago, that Nellie brought up, practicing different behaviors and different things, but we're still us. Our experiences still made us who we are today, whether they're real, imagined, or otherwise. Those experiences that seem, super surreal to us make us who we are today. It's a beautiful thing. We're able to learn, to grow, to support people, and to be there for people on a level that nobody else can, because we're unique, each one of us. I reach my own audience, my coworkers reach their own audiences, and some of them interlock and, mesh together, some don't. And that's one of the things that I've learned a lot over the last few months is, like, it's okay to be me. It's okay to be me. And it's not just okay. It's a gift and a blessing to be me and who I am today. And where I've come from, my past is not pretty at all. I've been through a lot. But that gives me all of that experience to take with me and walk through life with, and help myself learn and grow first and foremost. But then to also be there for this whole community of people who need help and think people don't understand or can't relate. I recently got a sponsee that I would have never expected to have, but she went through the same parts of life that I did, and here we are, and I'm hoping for the best, and, I'm really happy that you guys all tuned in and I was able to share that story with a bunch of you, a higher number than usual, which makes me happy. It also shows me that this is, like, happening for a reason. For me, I'm a very spiritual human being, and all I ask before I come on here, I've told you guys numerous times, I don't really plan. I go by what happens all morning to lead me up to this talk. And all I ask before I come on here is to reach somebody. And it seems like I am with this story and the message that I got brought and now I'm bringing to you. Again, experience. And it's absolutely amazing. I need ways to help myself. Nelly, absolutely need ways to help myself, not being so hard on myself. Absolutely. You know, it all starts with practice. For me, I read a lot of self-help books, which also helps me reframe my mindset. You know, I look into things like mind over matter or the mindset or perfectly imperfect. You know, I can share a lot of that stuff with you guys offline. But you know, that helps me, and it's helped me a lot, a whole lot. You know, just to get perspectives on it that I might not come up with, you know. But this, you know, it's more so for me, like, number one for me is my community. You know, you guys tell me that I was worthy when I couldn't do it myself, and still do on days that I can't, you know, because I really suffer with that stuff. I suffer with a lot of mental health stuff, and if it wasn't for you guys being here for me all throughout the way, like, I wouldn't be here today, you know. So that's another beautiful thing about humans. You know, we're here for each other, and we support each other and love each other when we can't do it ourselves. Melissa, amen to that. Holly, you and your spirit are. Thank you, Holly. You are too. Nelly, let me know what the books are, please. Absolutely. We'll touch base offline, Nelly. But if anybody else has any comments or anything, we have a couple minutes left here. And if you have anything that you want to touch on, I'm willing to help in any way that I can. You know, going throughout today, I just ask, you know, be kind to yourself and spend some time discovering who you are. You know, that's what matters. Who are you today? What do you want to do? Who do you want to be? You know, what's something that you want to change, you know? So the intention that I'm giving you guys is discover, and it goes a lot deeper than that. Dig into it. See what it is. Spend some time with it. You got a lot of time right now. Spend some time with it. Absolutely. You know, dig into it. And tonight, before you go to bed, just kind of reflect on it. If you don't like to journal, that's fine. But just reflect on it for a moment, you know, and see how you did today and where you're at and how does your soul feel. How's your soul feel? You know, for me, that's my driving force. If something doesn't feel right in here, then I got to change something, you know. It took me a long time to figure that out. A really long time to figure that out, what that meant. You know, that butterfly feeling in my stomach or the, you know, racing heart, my anxiety, you know, they're all signs, and they're all helping me learn what works for me and doesn't work for me. Who I am, what I want, stuff like that. Chelsea said self-check-ins every day. Absolutely. Yep. I fell off on that too, and I started picking it back up recently, and I'm really glad that I did. I'm trying to use my mouse to navigate my phone. That was smart, Keirstan. Chelsea, now is the time to get to know ourselves and grow and learn, and it will be uncomfortable at times, but that's where we grow. Absolutely. I touched on that a little bit ago. We have all the time in the world, you know, and I believe that this is a blessing for all of us to slow down and really look at ourselves and what we're doing. And yeah, great point there, Chelsea. You know, a lot of us run from it and turn from the uncomfortability and the fear, you know, but my experience, and I know many other people's experiences, are in that uncomfortability. When I don't feel good about it, like when I'm uncomfortable and I feel like I just want to crawl out of my skin, I would rather go home, watch Netflix, use whatever it looks like for you. I would rather go back to that than to be where I'm at right now. That's when I grow the most. If I just sit in it, navigate my way through it with support or without. Either way, I've done it both ways. I always reach out at some point, but sometimes I just sit in it, you know, and I love it, and I navigate those feelings on my own to see where I'm really at. And then I go reach out to somebody afterwards and run it all by them. But at the end of the day, it's that uncomfortability that we grow. I kind of touched on it a little bit in the beginning of this video. You know, all the mistakes and all of that lack of self-worth and stuff like that plays in. I end up being grateful for it in the long run. In the moment, probably not. You know, I'm not happy, but coming out of it, I'm always grateful for it, and I do look forward to it in one way or another, those changes and those growth periods. And it is really hard, you know, but the one thing that I always say to anybody I'm talking to is just push past that fear. Push past that fear of sitting with yourself. Don't turn on the TV. Don't turn on the music. Don't start texting people just because you can't sit there with yourself. Just spend some time, even if it's like 5 minutes a day, spend some time with yourself in that uncomfortable place and start to learn who you are. It's really important. And it'll help you have some direction and purpose in your life. It took me 28 years to figure that out. So absolutely dig in when we have all the time in the world right now. All right. So I love you guys, and I'm really glad that all of you tuned in today. I feel like this was great today. So yeah, and I hope everyone spreads their wings today. Absolutely. I'm going to go on a walk after my staff meeting and get out. But spread your internal wings too. Spread them. Really branch out of your comfort zone with yourself. And then it will all start to come to fruition outside of that. Trust me, it will. But so on our website, there are phone numbers and website or email addresses. Sorry, I'm getting confused. I'm watching things here. But yeah, there are phone numbers, email addresses, and stuff like that all on our website and on the Facebook page. Feel free to reach out to any one of us. We're all here to help you. You can also message the ROCovery Fitness on Facebook Messenger, and all of our staff sees that, so one of us will get back to you. I always say if you have somebody specific that you relate to, by all means ask for them. Reach to them on Facebook. That's what we're here for. We have outreach and engagement specialists that's their job, and that's what they specialize in. So reach out to them if you need be. The number's on the Facebook page and the website. And absolutely reach out to me personally. I'd love to share books with you or advice, anything I can do to help. I'm there to listen. If you just need somebody to vent to, whatever it looks like. This is my fuel. This is my soul feeder, you guys. So thank you for being here today. You've helped me, and I hope I've helped one of you. And have a good day.